There's people that swear by this app. Let's talk about Duolingo. Hola, bienvenido, welcome back. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my lessons. I've been uploading videos every Friday, or at least I try to do so. So I'm really happy you're here and welcome. So today we're going to talk about Duolingo. For those of you who don't know, Duolingo is an app that teaches you languages. It has a crazy amount of different languages that you can learn, and I guess it's kind of fun, but it could be controversial when it comes to actually learning and becoming fluent in a language. So let's take a look at the pros and the cons of the app and their method of teaching a language. As you might have noticed already, I kind of have mixed feelings about this app, so let's talk about the positive things first. This app is excellent to give you that kickstart that you need in order to start learning a language. It will teach you a ton of vocabulary and it will keep you accountable because it has some sort of inbuilt accountability system that makes you come back, and at the end of the day that's a really good thing because that's what you want to build. You want to build up a routine where every day you practice the language. So I guess that the app is really good in that sense. I also like the way that it's built. It's kind of like a video game, so you move through levels, you level up, you collect points, you collect rewards, so it keeps it fun and entertaining, and at the end of the day it is kind of a game, but you are learning, so that's really good. I also like that it has a community inbuilt and you can chat to with other people that are going through the same lessons as you are, so that's also really fun. There's also moderators where you can direct your concerns if you find like a mistake in the app or something like that, and there are also forums where you can ask and answer questions. So I think that for what it is, that's kind of cool. I also like the way that all the lessons are gradual, so you progress gradually. You complete a lesson on a certain topic and then you move on to the next one, and then you can come back and build it up. So again, for vocabulary, it is great. I also like that it's free. There is a paid version, but the free version, which is the one I used, was pretty good. I think the paid version includes like a few lessons or like a bit of grammar or explanations here and there, but the free version is enough to get you started. And I also like that you get kind of a sense of accomplishment. Since it's designed in a way that resembles a video game, every time you level up or that you move up a league or you earn a certain reward, you get that accomplishment or you achieve your daily goal, and that's awesome. But at the same time, it kind of has a negative side in that sense, because it only takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day to complete your lesson in Duolingo, and getting that rewarding feeling of accomplishment after only 15 minutes, it's kind of dangerous because you might think that, oh, 15 minutes a day is all I need playing this app, and I don't think that that's all you need in order to become fluent in a language in a reasonable time period. Now for the cons. I don't think you get a good value for the time invested. Even though, as I mentioned a few moments ago, that you only end up investing like 15 minutes a day or so, the value you get out of that is not that good because you're not learning enough in order to achieve fluency eventually. It's also very repetitive. It is based on memory, so you end up memorizing words, memorizing spelling, when in fact you should be actually trying to learn it in a different way, not memorizing it. Another thing that I don't really like is that it is an app, so at the end of the day it is a robot that you're talking to or that is teaching you or you're learning from, and you end up typing things, not writing, so you're missing out on that part of the cognitive process that engages muscle memory and the fact that you write and your hand gets used to writing that way, and you observe letter by letter the way that language is built, and your brain recognizes that. Same when you speak. This app has speaking and listening inbuilt lesson or whatever that is, but you are talking to a robot, and sometimes, like, honestly, I had blown through the microphone and the app told me that I was correct, and believe me, I was not correct. So you're missing out on that opportunity of moving your tongue and gaining that muscle memory from your tongue, which is a group of muscles, and those new connections with your brain in order to understand how to speak that language. Versus if you're learning from an actual person, you can observe the mouth when they say rosa, or you can try to imitate the sounds, even if you're learning from a video like mine or some other YouTubers that have so many great videos and platforms where you can learn from. So I think that the fact that it is a computer and it is not an actual person you're learning from, it's a big no. And also, same with mistakes. The app is built in an all or nothing type of way. They aim for literal translations, and if you put something that it's either colloquially correct or it's a different way of saying what they want you to say, but it's not inbuilt in their system that that's also a correct way, then you're going to get a wrong answer, and you won't know why, because it doesn't really explain to you why that answer is incorrect. So that is a big con. Another thing that I don't like about the app is that there's no grammar, there's no explanation. Maybe there's like little things here and there, a line or two explaining to you a certain topic, but overall, it's not a lesson, it's just practice. And it's based on memorization and repetition, and that's about it. So I can connect with the app in that way. And also, honestly, if you're an intermediate in a language, the app is kind of obsolete, because you know way more than what the app can teach you already. So I would try a different way if that was the case. And finally, what's probably my least favorite thing about the app, and something that actually makes me mad because I cannot understand how they missed out on such a big opportunity of teaching more words, more language, more vocabulary. I just don't get it. And this is the thing. Homepage of the app, you have all the lessons plans and all the titles of each lesson, all listed out in your own language, not in the language you're trying to learn. And I just don't get it. Why Duolingo? Why did you do that? It's so easy to write familia instead of family if someone is an English speaker trying to learn Spanish. Why are you missing out on such an opportunity of teaching just one more word? So all the cues and lesson plans and lesson names are in the language that you already speak. That's a bummer. If you ask me, the way of learning a language is that everything has to be in that language you're trying to learn. Worst case scenario, you don't know a word, you don't understand a certain sentence, you look it up. That's it. But Duolingo it's kind of cheating, you know? It's like, it's keeping it too easy. That is a big no-no for me. Now, what should you focus on if you were to use Duolingo? So again, focus on vocabulary. You're gonna learn a bunch of new words and you're going to repeat them every day, so you're going to memorize them. At the end of the day, that builds up your language. So yes, do it. If you're starting from scratch and you have no idea of anything about that language, Duolingo actually gives you the chance of getting familiar with it, you know, like observing the way words sound or the way they're spelled or the sentence structure. Even though they don't explain any grammar or any syntaxes, at least you get a sense of what the language is like, and from there you can take it to the next step. Again, it's a great kickstart, go for it. And also take advantage of this game format in order to get used to doing languages every day. So use that accountability that this game gives you, and it's fun, you know, to start with. It works. So my final thoughts on Duolingo. It is a computer teaching you, not a person. So if I were you, I would search for a different way of learning languages, and actually a great way is one of the videos I did. I'm gonna link it up here and down below. Make sure to check it out. It's actually 2 videos on tips when you're learning a new language. So I mentioned a bunch of different sources and different ways of learning, and it's really cool, so make sure you check it out. And again, by no means should this one be the only source of your language learning path. You should definitely seek for a different way, and yeah, use Duolingo as a kickstart. That's great, but make sure you check out other options and do your best. You need to sit down and have that pen and paper. That helps so much. I would like to talk to you about my experience with the app. So, as you may know, I'm fluent in 4 languages, English, Portuguese, Italian and Spanish. I was born into the Spanish language, so I got that one for free, lucky me. I learned English in school, so that was kind of like, it just happened. I don't even know when I learned, it just happened. And one of my grandmothers was Portuguese, so that's how I could speak Portuguese, and I also took a couple of classes when I was in high school. Now Italian is the one that I recently learned a couple of years ago, and I became fluent when I moved to Italy. So I used Duolingo a few years ago for the first time to brush up my Portuguese, because I noticed that since I hadn't been using it that much, I was kind of losing it. I was having a hard time speaking, which is totally normal when it comes to speaking a language that is not yours. So if you can relate to this, you know what I mean. Sometimes it just goes away, but then it's easy to retrieve and to make it come back, and it just happens. The thing is that at that point, I downloaded Duolingo, I took the starting test. They kind of give you like a placement test where you can see where you're at with the language. I took that and then I started practicing, but honestly, it was kind of obsolete. I found that I already knew too much of the language in order to get something good out of Duolingo. Yes, it was great to use in order to like remind me of a few words that I might have forgotten, but bottom line, it wasn't for me. And then 2 years ago, when I started learning Italian, I was living in Italy, I was taking classes, I had my exercise book, I was doing my homework, and on top of that, I was using Duolingo. Only a couple of weeks after I started learning, honestly, Duolingo again became obsolete. So anyway, you guys, that's my 2 cents on Duolingo and my thoughts about it. I hope that's helpful. Don't forget to subscribe again and like this video. I'm trying to grow my channel so I can upload more often. So I would really appreciate your support. And make sure you comment down below any questions or experience on Duolingo. I would be happy to read them. Alright, that's all for now. See you next Friday. Ciao!